Hello, amazing otters. It's Ms. Florio, and I wanted to share with you a book that focuses on a boy who's named Wallaby Booth. And Wallaby has a difficult time sometimes being truthful. So in this story, I want you to pay attention to what happens, what are the consequences for Wallaby when he does not tell his friends the truth, when he's not practicing honesty. Something happens with his friendships. I know sometimes telling the truth might be difficult or uncomfortable for us, but it is always important to be honest and truthful with others. It definitely impacts your relationships, and it impacts how people see you and whether or not they learn to trust you and think of you as somebody that they can rely on. So I want you, as you're enjoying this story that I'm about to read, pay attention to what happens to Wallaby and his relationships as we read Wallaby Booth and the Truth About Honesty. I hope you enjoy this. I think it's a very nice story, so I hope you do too. There once was a boy named Wallaby Booth who struggled a bit when it came to the truth. It wasn't that Wallaby wanted to lie, it's just that the truth is so boring, he'd sigh. His dad owned a business called Stan's Laundromat, but according to Wallaby, he was much more than that. "Don't tell," he would whisper. "My dad is a spy. Why, he knows more secrets than the whole FBI." Let's see what happens next. Then he'd tell them a story and fill it with glory till all of his friends were amazed. So he stretched the truth, did our Wallaby Booth, that his friends just stood there and gazed. "So that's how my dad saved the world, with 3 hangers and a purple striped tie." There he is, telling his friends a story. "I got a new bicycle yesterday." "That's nothing. My dad's buying me a motorcycle so I can jump the Grand Canyon." So there we have his friend who's excited about their new bicycle, and here's Wallaby with this story about, boy, I have something that's even better than what you got. Soon, Wallaby's boasting and bragging backfired, for all of his friends and his buddies grew tired of Wallaby's need to be biggest and best, to be grander and greater than all of the rest. Have you ever had a friend that every time you want to share something exciting with them or something you're happy about, they seem to have a story that they just have to tell that they think is just so much better than whatever you're sharing? Somebody who's kind of boastful and seems to want to appear like, well, what they have is just a little bit better than what you're talking about. How does that make you feel when somebody does that? I wonder how Wallaby's friends are feeling. The more he'd exaggerate, the easier it became to make up a story than to take any blame. "Where is your homework?" his teacher would ask. "And if you don't mind, would you stick to the facts?" I wonder if Wallaby's teacher is beginning to not trust him. What do you think? He's asking Wallaby to just stick to the facts. "It was terrible, Mr. Barkley," little Wallaby would say. "Or tornado came along and just swept it away. The wind came a-swirling, the pages went whirling, they flew right out of my hand. The wind opened the door and it blew across the floor, blowing my homework as far as Thailand." "Is that really the truth?" Mr. Barkley would prod. "I have to be honest, it sounds very odd." Do you think his teacher is believing him? He's saying it sounds very odd. doesn't sound very believable. But, well, the boy stuttered, I guess that it's not. I was watching Space Rangers and I sort of forgot. So soon no one would listen when their friend told a story, for he'd won a spot in the liar category. So now Wallaby had been telling stories so often that people were beginning to think anything he said wouldn't be true, because they were used to him being dishonest. So they were not trusting him, even if maybe what he was sharing was truthful. They weren't feeling like they could count on him to be honest. So when he said, hey guys, you'll never believe it, they all said, of course not. Come on guys, let's beat it. But my uncle is coming from Australia, down under. My Uncle Bob is famous, outback guide, and he's been in movies, and there he is running after all of his friends who seem to not want to see him or talk to him. He's bringing his crocodile, Samuel O'Gunder. Yeah, right, his friends muttered as they all walked away. Come see him, Wallaby yelled. He'll be here Saturday. I wonder if Wallaby is telling the truth to his friends. It seems like they're not believing his story, and he's awfully excited about this uncle that he says is coming from Australia with his crocodile, and he wants his friends to come see. But they're all running away saying, yeah, right. I don't think they're believing him. But when Saturday came, Wallaby Booth sat alone. His friends didn't come, and his friends didn't phone. I don't know what happened, he told his dear uncle. Where are they? He wondered, his face all a rumple. Poor Wallaby's not feeling very good, is he? Nobody's come to see his uncle. But then the phone rang. It was Sydney next door. Hey, want to go with me downtown to the store? I can't, replied Wallaby. My uncle is here. Yeah, right, I believe you, Sydney said with a sneer. I'm telling the truth. Come and see for yourself. Then Wallaby hung up the phone on the shelf. Well, it was nice that his friend invited him to go to the store. He obviously wanted to spend some time with him, but it sounds as though he wasn't believing Wallaby had company and that his uncle was there. Before very long, the whole gang was there. They all looked surprised as they stood everywhere. Your uncle is here with his pet crocodile. I can hardly believe it, Sydney said with a smile. I won't blame you, said Wallaby. With the lies that I've told, who would believe me? My fibs must get old. From now on, I'll be truthful. Oh, please help me, God. I will not exaggerate or be a big fraud. So Wallaby is making a promise to his friends that he is going to make sure not to exaggerate, to make sure that he doesn't stretch the truth. And he does acknowledge here that he can't really blame his friends for not believing him when he told them about his uncle. He realizes that the fibs he's been telling and the way that he's been dishonest has caused his friends not to trust him anymore. Even when he's telling the truth, they doubt him because he's too often been dishonest with them. Will you forgive me? He asked, ducking his head. Of course we will, silly, they all gladly said. Wallaby Booth, we're telling the truth, his friend said, taking the cue. It's not where you go or the people you know. We like you because you are you. That's a really important part of the story, because Wallaby's friends are realizing that maybe he creates stories or stretches the truth often because he's afraid that his friends won't like him if he's just who he is. So he feels like he has to make up these great big stories so that people might be interested in him and want to be his friends. But this part of the story, his friends are letting him know that they like him just because he is who he is, and that he doesn't have to stretch the truth, but just be himself. And then his true friends will like him and be there and want to be with him. Yeehaw! Come on, mates, said Uncle Bob. Enough of this talk. Let's go to the beach and take Sam for a walk. Yeehaw! Yelled the guys, and they let loose a cheer while Wallaby grinned and wiped away a tear. Now, sometimes when we hear somebody's had a tear and we think they're crying, we think it might be because they're sad. But I think Wallaby is just feeling maybe some tears of joy and relief in realizing that his friends like him just for the wonderful person that he is. And I think he's probably feeling pretty happy that they're accepting him for who he is, and that he doesn't have to pretend to be somebody else or anything different than the unique person that he is, and his friends will still like him. They spent the whole day throwing Bob's boomerang, Wallaby, Sydney, and all of the gang. It's good to have friends, Wallaby said with a smile. Then he gave them high fives and hugged the reptile. There they are, saying, it's good to have friends. Look at that crocodile. I don't know if I'd be comfortable hugging one of those, but in this story they were. So honesty and being truthful is such an important trait and quality. And one of the important messages in this story is not only the importance of being honest, but also in being truthful about who you are and realizing that you should be comfortable in who you are, what you like to do, what kind of person you are. People that are going to be your friends are going to be your friends because of what's inside your heart and because of who you are as a person, not because of things that you have or great stories that you create to make yourself maybe appear more exciting and interesting, at least in your mind, you think that what you're sharing with them might make you sound that way. But we are all wonderful, amazing people just because of who we are, and we're all unique and different, and it's important to accept and appreciate all those differences in one another. So I want you to work on remembering just that what makes us all unique makes us special and makes us valuable, and that people that are different from us make our lives more interesting just for knowing them, and that we make other people's lives interesting by being who we are and being honest about that. So be comfortable in who you are. Know that you are amazing, and differences only make us more interesting. So today I am going to challenge you as you move through your day to try and maybe find out something new about one person in your class that you did not know before. And I'm also going to challenge you to share something about yourself with someone in your class that maybe they didn't know about you. So honor those differences. The more we share with people about who we are, the more we have a chance to discover commonalities, things that we both have in common, and differences. And either way, whether it's something we share in common or that's a difference, we always respect one another and appreciate each other for who we are, our true, authentic selves. So have a wonderful day. Know that you're awesome, and I will see you soon. See you later, friends. Thanks for listening.